Hours of rainfall have created severe problems throughout Oregon and southwest Washington tonight, and we're tracking all of this with team coverage for you tonight. Lisa Balick is live near Johnson Creek, where the water levels are being watched very closely. Jessica Morkert is live near Welch's. They've got some evacuations up there in the Hoodland area. We'll ask her about that in a minute. Our chief meteorologist, Bruce Sussman, of course, standing by to let us know how much longer this is going to last. But let's start with KOIN Local 6, Tim Joyce in Cowlitz County, and there's a flood warning there as well for the Cowlitz River, Tim.
Yeah, Cowlitz County and the Cowlitz River here behind me is running high, and it is definitely running fast and even threatening some homes, and it's running above its banks in some places. Now, when this and other major rivers run high, it backs up small creeks and streams into neighborhoods, so some localized flooding is already a problem.
This was almost up to the front of our house. It flooded pretty bad. That boat over there was about to be swept away by the water. The creek back there started running out onto the road, and it's been flooding pretty bad.
Anthony Beyonthville lives on Alpha Drive in Kelso, which is like many streets around hilly southwest Washington, where saturated hillsides are sending small creeks and streams overflowing their banks. And in some cases, like here along State Route 411, the whole hillside gives way. This landslide pulled down a power line and the guardrail too. Washington DOT crews say the highway will remain closed until they can determine if more of this will come on down. Even though most of the rainfall is behind us with this storm, we're seeing rivers rise from melting Cascade snowpack. The low-lying Cowlitz Gardens neighborhood in Kelso is keeping a watchful eye on the rising waters of the Cowlitz River. And in Anthony's neighborhood, he's just keeping an eye on drivers who ignore the road closed signs.
A red little Nissan truck got stalled right in the middle of the road and couldn't get out and kept trying to start his truck and didn't make it out. I had to push him out, put on some shorts, jumped in the water and pushed him out.
Now live here, this is a promising sign for folks here in southwest Washington. Clearing skies here means the rains have shut off, and a lot of these river levels will eventually start to go back down. But right now, still a flood warning in effect for the Cowlitz River here in southwest Washington. This river is expected to crest this evening between 7 and 8 o'clock tonight, but the river still has a little bit more to go up. So still some homeowners in this area and residents are still keeping a very close, watchful eye on the river, and we are as well. Reporting for you in Cowlitz County, I'm meteorologist Tim Joyce, KOIN Local 6.
Thank you, Tim. And of course, there are thousands of people in Oregon and Washington who choose to live near our rivers and creeks, including Johnson Creek, and we know that's notorious for flooding on days like this. KOIN Local 6 reporter Lisa Balick is live along Johnson Creek, and I know you're near Foster there at 108th, Lisa. The creek is not expected to reach flood stage tonight, but it's close.
Getting very close, Kelly. In fact, it's interesting. We have seen people all day long driving by here, homeowners as well as business owners, taking a look at the creek to see what's happening with it. Now, this flooding is so well known, we wanted to find out why so many people choose to live around here.
The first 3 times I sat down and just cried, going, this isn't right.
Barbara Topper is keeping watch out back. She lives along Brookside Drive near Foster and 122nd. Her neighbor is Johnson Creek. It's flooded its banks, headed towards her house before.
You get scared because, you know, you got a mortgage and you're paying insurance and you hear about the flood and the earthquake and this, and it's scary. Now, what are you going to do? It's nature.
Like many homeowners near northwest creeks and rivers, Topper moves what she can out of the path of floodwaters. Her husband's even poured a concrete berm out front to keep the water away. You may be surprised to learn who chooses to live and even build close to water.
It's a nice spot.
Michael Cummings is building a home not far from Johnson Creek. He's a geologist who's lived around here for 15 years.
This is always flooded from the end of the Ice Age, but now you have houses around it, and therefore now it's a problem.
He's building above the floodplain, filling the place with light to enjoy country living only 10 minutes from downtown Portland. That's why so many choose to live so close to water.
We bought it for the land to have this much room.
You live with a level of risk that you're willing to tolerate.
Now, it's interesting. Topper says that there's been so much stuff that floats by the river that ends up in her backyard, like toys, furniture, all kinds of things, that they retrieve that stuff, put it out front of the house afterwards with a found sign so people can find some of the stuff that's washed away during the floods. Live in Southeast Portland, Lisa Balick, KOIN Local 6.
Lisa, live along Johnson Creek for you. Thank you. And today, rain slammed parts of Highway 101 at the coast. 10 inches, in fact, of standing water forced ODOT to shut down the road south of Seaside there at Bierman Creek. High-profile vehicles were allowed to move through, but they were restricted to a 5-mile-an-hour limit. Lots of water down there at the coast. And just south of Seaside, 2 landslides closed Oregon Highway 6 at mileposts 6 and 8. That's just east of Tillamook. The slides happened early this morning, and the highway will remain closed at least until tomorrow. ODOT right now is scrambling. They're bringing in extra crews and equipment to try to stabilize that site, but they're asking drivers to use Highway 26 to 101 as an alternate route. And this just in as well, we've learned that 6 homes in South Tillamook County are being warned to evacuate tonight after a culvert there failed. KOIN Local 6 reporter Jessica Morker continues our team coverage now near Welch's. And Jessica, I drove up over Mount Hood today, and those rivers coming off that mountain were going like crazy. I can't remember seeing them like that. Now we've got people being evacuated.
That's right, Kelly, and right now the heavy rains, they have prompted some evacuations and some road closures, and we're standing here next to Highway 26 where you see that the traffic is flowing along smoothly, but authorities are still advising people to know before you go. Check out the conditions before you drive because of such heavy rains. Now right now the Sandy River and the Salmon River are close to flood stage. Some people whose homes back up to the Salmon River have been evacuated, and one home on the Sandy River we know of has been evacuated. Now people here in the community are doing what they can to help out their neighbors. The Hoodland Fire Department and ODOT have set up this sandbagging area near Welch's Middle School. Volunteers have been filling out sandbags, which will be delivered to residents. One resident we spoke to who lives near the Salmon River says on a scale of 1 to 10, the flooding in his neighborhood ranks at around a 7.
The flood before, and 4 or 5 years ago, I lived on a street that got evacuated, so I ended up here sandbagging, and when today the rivers were coming up, I was like, I think, go down there and help out.
Now, there is an emergency evacuation center that's been set up at the Hoodland Fire Station, and several local roads here in the area have been closed because of the flooding, and we're, of course, keeping an eye on the situation, and we'll have a live report for you in the next hour. For now, reporting live for you in Sandy, Jessica Morkert, KOIN Local 6.
Jessica, thank you. We want to get to Chief Meteorologist Bruce Sussman. And Bruce, we've seen all the video, the sandbagging, the flooding. Everyone's wanting to know, how much longer is this going to come down?
Well, the good news is the rain is already on the decrease and on the way out of here, Kelly. And I mean, we stopped it just in time. I want to show you what the big picture looks like for our rivers and streams. First of all, for our metro streams, those in the I-5 corridor, like Johnson Creek, they're dropping. And that's what they're going to do significantly as we go through the evening hours tonight. Most northwest rivers that are hitting flood stage will crest in the next 18 hours. The latest will be the Cowlitz River near Kelso, which crests about 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. And about 10 of these rivers are going to hit flood stage, but so far only minor flooding is forecast. Let me show you live Doppler right now, and you can see for yourself that we don't have a whole lot going on around the northwest until you get to southern Oregon. That's where the fire hose is aiming right now, and boy, it could have been worse. Check out the rainfall totals as you go up the mountain. Sandy, for 24 hours, you've had almost 3.5 inches of rain. You get to Ski Bowl, it's over 5 inches. You get to Mount Hood Meadows, it's over 6 inches of rain. And the big daddy of them all, Timberline Lodge, 8.68 inches of rain in the last 24 hours. That doesn't even count what happened on Friday night and Saturday. And they also had a 92-mile-an-hour wind gust that was within the last hour. So it's still rocking and rolling up on the mountains. And, of course, Kelly, let me show you these pictures of the Sandy River. Look at this. Giant logs being washed down. Again, this is the result of all those rain totals I told you about. And can you see the rocks on the far side of your TV there? Those rocks are normally 15 to 20 feet above where the river level is. Look at the giant trees. So there's your driftwood for next summer along the Oregon coast. It is racing down the slopes of Mount Hood.